everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and welcome to part 2 of the March hashtag video, hashtag CAC Fantasy Art, and we're going to be finishing off the art journaling pages. I'm going to show you what I did, and then we're going to be using some texture paste to add to some things so that they will stand out, and then we're going to be gluing things down with some matte medium from Liquitex. So to get this background, what I did was I used several colors of Distress Stain and one Distress Paint because that's the only one I had. So this is Broken China Distress Paint, which I really love. I love the paint. I smudged that on part of the background, then I took this baby wipe and I just went through and wiped it, and I went all different directions and got different variations and textures, and then I went back over it after that was dry with different colors of Distress Stain. I used Tumbled Glass, Broken China, and this one is Faded Jeans. So I used the three Distress Stains in blue that I had, and again I went back in and you can see where the darker colors are. That's the Faded Jean, and then there's some of that Tumbled Glass and some more of that Broken China. And so even though there were two colors of Broken China, I used the Distress Stain and the Distress Paint. They are different. They actually do, if you look at them, you can see the difference in the two. Even though this is liquid, this is actually a little bit lighter. If you see the stain on the bottle, that's kind of the color it is. So they're not the exact same color, which is nice because I could use them on top of each other and they played off each other, but it wasn't the exact same color. So I am really loving the way the sky background came out. So the next thing that I want to do is, in the last video I told you that I was going to hold off on coloring the clouds because I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. I wanted to see what color the background came out first before I decided what to do with them. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to apply this sparkle texture paste to this. I've never used this before. This is the Martha Stewart brand. I got it on clearance at Michael's. It was $7 and then clearance down to $3.49. And then I think at my Michael's, because this is the Michael's that was going out of business, see it has the slash through it, so they had an extra, was it extra 50% off, something like that. So I think I got two of them for $3.49. So I didn't think that was a bad price. So what I'm going to do, if you look and you see, this is the texture sparkle, sparkle texture paste. Now, I think what I'm going to do is it's kind of like frosting. Just want to mix it up a little bit. And as always, you can put some ink down and dip this into the ink and color it. So you could have a frosted or a tinted color. Now, I don't think I'm going to put this on exactly evenly. I want to give it some dimension. I kind of want to make it look like fluffy, sparkly clouds. It reminds me so much of icing. And hopefully this dries fairly quickly because I want to be able to put this on the project. Of course, that would happen to me. Now, this is meant to be used on a stencil, so it probably would have been better if what I did was take the cutouts and use them as a stencil. Use the negative piece as a stencil and just put this directly to my paper. But, again, at that time, I did not know that this is what I wanted to do, so I'm just going to try this. I mean, it's just plain white cardstock. It's not going to really waste anything if it doesn't come out right. I can recut the clouds, not a big deal. I saved the project. So, and again, I don't want it to look perfect. It's a fantasy thing, so I could have put some tint in this. I could have done a ton of different things. Painted it, put some paint, put some ink, and gotten different color clouds, but I just wanted a little bit of dimension to this. Now, the thing with the art journal books is that you don't want to put too much bulk on a lot of the pages because then your book is going to get too thick to stay closed, but none of my other pages so far have any real dimension, so I think if you do a couple of pages in the book with some dimensional objects, it's not going to be a big deal. Once you start putting paints and things on the page, the binding gets a little worn anyway. So here we are, just painting this on. And so there's a faint glitter or sparkle to these. It kind of just looks like frosting to me. So okay, so I'm going to put these off to the side. I'm going to go over the edges a little bit and maybe not make some of it so thick. But you can tell it's already starting to dry in the pieces that I have done already. And again, I've got it on my hands and now I'm all glittery. Okay. And again, you could always heat set this. I have no idea where my heat gun is. I actually cleaned out I started to clean out the rest of the stuff that was in my garage from when I moved. And I thought it was out there, and I can't find it. So it could be in one of the boxes that's still in my room that hasn't been unpacked. But I'm getting a little bit nervous. I feel like maybe it had to have made it, because I cleaned out everything from the house. But I'm wondering where it got to. Okay, so now that that is done, let me just clean this off as well. This is just a baby wipe. I have glitter, again, all over my hands. So I'm going to get the art journal book, and we are going to use the Liquitex Matte Medium to stick these things down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip my brush in here. I've used this before. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't use this one. Maybe I used the other one. Okay, so I'm actually going to use this Liquitex Professional Matte Gel. I don't think that it was really any different than the other one, but we'll see. This one I definitely have used before. Just a glue. So I'm going to lay the pieces out kind of where they're supposed to go. So I'm going to just put a thin layer on the back of this so that it sticks down. Now, as far as I know, the Distress paints will not reactivate when they get wet. I'm not sure about the stains. So that should be interesting, because I know Distress ink reactivates when, even after it's dry for a while, it will reactivate with moisture. I think that's where I needed it to be, hoping. Yeah, I think actually it's probably not a smart idea to put that on there. Some of the Distress ink already kind of came off onto the page. So I'm going to have to put the book over to the side and then just put the gel medium on. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go with my matte medium and I'm going to glue the pieces down. So once I'm finished the page, I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I glued everything down. The texture paste is not exactly dry, so I just kind of put the matte medium on the back of it, and I will probably have to put some behind some of it again once it dries, but I just wanted to get everything into place and show you guys what it looks like. So here's the castle side with the two fluffy clouds, and you can see the texture and the dimension and a little bit of the sparkle to it. I love the way the walkway looks for the castle and the way everything came out. You can kind of see here the lights and the darks now. You can see, I think you can see them a little bit better, the effects that I created with some of the distress ink. And then this side, it is a little bit different than the way that I had it on the computer. I couldn't get the unicorn to look right flying over the cloud, so what I did was I just put the cloud on the one side and then glued the unicorn down. I may go back in with some Wink Stella, but I think it has enough glitter as it is. And I glued the frog down and the princess. So there is my very first art journal page for the CAC Fantasy Art project for this month, for March's hashtag event. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. And if you're not a subscriber, please feel free to subscribe, and you will see lots of art journaling, scrapbooking, and card making videos. I try every Sunday to do a sketch Sunday where I turn a sketch, most likely from my favorite things, into a card design or into a scrapbook page. So I hope you join me for those things, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye!